Alright, what's up guys? Welcome back to a new video on EastCoastManga. So today is an interesting video. Like one of my other videos, this is kind of a concept slash theory video. So basically how I'm going to preface this video is I have a list of TV shows that I really like that aren't animated, and it's a list of TV shows that I think would make for a really good manga or anime, or manga and anime. And I'm not saying converting these TV shows into an anime or manga, I'm just saying the plot, the story, the characters, everything about these TV shows, I think if they were a manga or were an anime, I think they would be phenomenal. And this is just my list. I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff. It's gonna be like 10 or 11 TV shows, and I came up with the list in probably like 45 minutes. I'm really big into TV shows, and I think each show in this list has certain characteristics that I think could make a really good manga or anime. And I'm not going to go too much into the TV shows describing everything that happens and all that, because this video would probably be like 30 minutes long. So I'm going to try to make it as short as possible while still having enough content for a good video. And without further ado, the first one on the list is Black Mirror. I love Black Mirror. Black Mirror is such an interesting show because every single episode is completely different. It's a different concept. It's a different little storyline. It's different characters. Personally, I think Black Mirror could be an awesome manga or anime if it wasn't already a TV show. I don't know if it would be any better, but I think it could do really well if it was. The next one is the 100. So the 100 is basically Earth became uninhabitable and people got sent up into space to live into space. And then after, after I think like a couple hundred years, they deemed the Earth habitable again. I think there was some wars or something. But they deemed the Earth habitable again, and they sent down 100 people to Earth to basically test it out. They're essentially test subjects. It's a phenomenal series, in my opinion. It's on Netflix, and I think it could also be an amazing anime or manga. It has a great story. It has some dark moments. It has some relatable characters. It has some good protagonists and antagonists, and things get switched around a lot, which I like. It's not always as clear as you think. And these are also in no particular order. Number 3 is Bates Motel. I think this could also be made into a awesome manga or anime. And if you don't know what this is, it's Norman Bates. It's a prequel to American Psycho. So to describe it quickly, it's basically a family and this son and his mom. Mom buys a motel, they run a motel, he's mentally unstable, and it's basically his path into becoming a serial killer. So pretty dark, but really interesting, and I think it could be made, and I think it could be a really interesting psychological thriller, at least that part, in for a manga or anime. So next on the list would be Dark, and this is a series, TV show I can sit here and talk about all day. It's so good. It's a German-produced Netflix original, and it has a very, very strong concept to it, but I don't want to spoil it and give it away because you're not introduced to it in the first episode. It takes a couple episodes to actually show the twist and show what the rest of the show is going to be about. But to put it shortly, basically people start going missing, but at least one important person was a kid who goes missing, and no one knows what happened, no one knows what's going on. And then I think like episode 5, it's revealed, and the concept around this show is extremely powerful. I think it's super interesting, and I hate that I can't talk about it more because, like I said, I absolutely do not want to spoil it for anyone. I absolutely recommend you watch this show. It's probably one of the most interesting shows I've ever watched, and personally I think it could be made into an awesome manga. I would love to see like a multi-volume, longer series manga on this. Oh my god, it'd be so cool. It obviously it's never going to happen, but I think it would be really, really cool. Next is Zoo, and I think this one in particular could be a pretty sweet anime. Also, I mean, of course manga too, but I could definitely see this being an anime. If you guys have watched Zoo, it's on Netflix. Basically, these animals all around, or every single animal, or just about every single animal all around the world starts acting crazy and start like killing humans and just going completely against their, I guess, natural instincts. It's kind of a weird show to describe because I don't know, it just sounds very awkward, but it's done really, really well, and it's very, very interesting. And if you haven't watched that yet, I highly recommend you also check that out. Next on the list is American Horror Story. This is similar to Black Mirror, where Black Mirror, it's every episode that's different, where with American Horror Story, it's every season's different. So I think this could also be a really cool concept within anime or manga. And it's also usually much darker tones than other TV series. It's kind of, you know, American Horror Story, so it's supposed to be kind of, you know, dark and scary, but it's also usually really good stories. Sometimes this season starts off like more of a horror like film type feel, but the actors are excellent, and sometimes a lot of them are reused for the next season. And the characters that these actors can portray are sometimes completely different from the previous season, and they're able to do it so well, so I definitely had to include this on my list. Now next, and this is just kind of a throw-in, everyone knows this along with one other one which I'll talk about, is Game of Thrones. You know, Vinland Saga has kind of taken the reins right now, but I think if Game of Thrones happened to be a manga, the details and, you know, obviously they have the books, but I think the details you would be able to add in and the more story you'd be able to add in, I think would be easier to transfer from the book to a manga than a book to the TV show. And of course, Game of Thrones is an absolutely amazing TV show, with the exception of, you know, the last season falling off and falling short. I would personally love it if I was able to see that in manga form. I just think they would be able to do a lot more with it than what they were able to do with a TV show. Next is Limitless. I think this would be a super easy one. So a lot of people know about the movie. There's also a TV show, Limitless. It's based off the same concept. I think it's on Netflix. That's where I watched it. But basically, for anyone who doesn't know, this person takes pills, and he takes this pill, or finds or invents this pill. I can't remember the exact story. But basically it allows you to use your entire brain, so be able to use every single function in your brain, whereas like rumored you can only use 20% of your brain. I'm not sure if that's a real thing anymore, but this is based off of using 100%, so it's a really interesting concept, really interesting TV show. I think it could be a super interesting manga or anime if there isn't already something like this. I know this idea is not a new one, but speaking specifically on the story and the characters and the concept, I think all of that would be able to make a pretty good manga or anime. Now, last one on the list, which I just watched recently, it's a Spanish Netflix original. It's called Money Heist. Amazing. Just speaking on the show for a second, like, the dubbed version of that show is so good. The actors and the emotion are fantastic. Like, I've never watched anything dubbed that's better than that when it comes to, you know, not like animated movie or TV show. But I mean, the strategies and the events that happen are just amazing. The way that they're able to think ahead and prepare for certain situations is just crazy. It honestly puts Death Note to shame in terms of like strategy and stuff like that. It would be unreal to see something like that in manga form. And if you guys have watched that show and have watched, you know, finished part 4, I would assume you would agree with me in what I'm saying about it. And then last, because I would obviously have to throw this one in, is Harry Potter. I mean, there's really not much more to say. It would be great to see it in manga form, you know, maybe anime too, but manga specifically would be really, really cool, because we have the books, we have the movies. You know, I think it would be kind of cool to have it in a, you know, graphic novel or manga form. So that's been it for this video. Depending on the reception of this video, I'd like to do one based off of movies, what movies I think could be made into like really good manga or also maybe anime. But more important, I would love to hear what you guys think down in the comments. Not really like on my list, but if you have a TV show that you think would absolutely make an awesome manga or anime, definitely add that down. Mine tend to be a little more graphic or like darker or more like seinen type, so feel free to add anything into that category if you had like a totally different category, feel free to leave that down, because I'd really like to hear about that. But yeah, that's all I gotta say, so catch you guys later.